Hey, yo. Welcome back. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule. He's D-Mac, Darren McCarty, the Detroit sports media icon, T-Foss, Terry Foster, in the house as well from the Terry Foster Chair of Pleasure.
A big show like today, that's how you start a show? Oh, come on, dude.
He did a Scott Hall.
Yeah, absolutely. Fish is in the bowl.
Let's go.
Hey, yo.
Wait, and I'm going to kick this off because we got obviously, talk about Michigan State winning this stuff, but my man here, back in the captain's chair, bringing home the #1 Oakland Grizzlies college basketball team. Congratulations to the Grizzlies and Neil Rule, champions in the Gulf.
In the Gulf Coast Showcase.
We saw your. Do we have that picture of the trophy? Neil holding the trophy.
Oh yeah, Sawyer's working on that.
But we got it. You've been away, right? A lot of things happened. Big weekend, obviously. Turkey lurky loo. You were telling us about your travels and stuff like this, but I think this cannot be overblown. I know the Michigan. We're going to talk about that, but this is awesome having Coach Campy on our show earlier on. I got to think maybe he wants to come on again because good things happen, when you're in the mic. So that must have been an exciting trip, exciting tournament, and to early on in the year.
No, it was. It was a lot of fun, and certainly they won and all that stuff. And we were down in Southwest Florida, so certainly that's good. As I did the show Wednesday, T-Foss, you'd have loved it. I did the show Wednesday poolside from the resort.
But I'm still trying to figure out what the hell is Oakland University basketball #1 in right now?
#1 in the nation in RPI. The teams you beat. The teams you beat, the teams that you beat, lost to. It's one of those quirky math things where, and I'll give you the
computer
for instance,
don't lie.
Right? Yeah, the
computer don't lie.
There's no emotion with the computer, Terry.
Right.
There is with committees,
so
but not with
if
computers.
Oakland played Gonzaga now, Oakland would kick their ass, right?
Oh, 1,000,000%. That's a transitive property.
Right.
1,000,000%. I've got to believe they'd be a 12-point favorite in that game. No, T-Foss, but it's cool, right?
It's
cool. One of those things you take and you run with, and it's cool at the time, a lot like what happened at the Big House in Michigan on Saturday. They got the win over Ohio State, and certainly we're going to address that. We're going to get all into it. If you're watching on the YouTube chat thread, welcome. Jump in with your comments. We'll be getting to that. You guys, here we go. Here for Neil's big cope. Can we just get this right out in the open? Because D-Mac, you did the show Wednesday. This game went exactly the way I told you it was going to go. Did it not?
It absolutely did. Listen, guys, I'm going to be here, Mr. Accountability and Mr. I listened to everything that you said, and it's sort of like the facts, and you called it. We all called it, I think, for Michigan to win. They played exactly how they had to have played, from Aiden Hutchinson, 15 pressures, 3 more sacks, setting the record. The Big House was hopping, but you did. You were poolside. Yeah, Terry, poolside when he called it out. But you get credit for calling it the way it is, and you're excited. We're all excited, and you're going to take a lot of heat today because people think you hate
Look,
Michigan.
you don't get
but that's not
credit
the
for
fact.
predicting the game. That's baloney. Now, I've heard all this glow around Metro Detroit. Lots of people are happy. Everybody, screaming and go blue and all this kind of stuff. And I was listening to all this whole thing. But in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I got to be on the big energy show on Monday. Is Neil going to be in a pissy mood?
No, man. No, absolutely not. T-Foss, why would I be? Because here's the thing with what Michigan did. Michigan did everything that I accuse them of not doing in the past. They did it. It was personal for them, T-Foss. You could tell. And the biggest thing they did, D-Mac, and if you want to go back and get the quotes or whatever, for me, T-Foss, it was take it out of Jim Harbaugh's hands and it being a one-possession game at the end, and they did that. They destroyed Ohio State at the point of attack. They took their manhood, the way that they were able to run Ohio State could not stop them. They could not. They were powerless to stop them. They didn't have a Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa this year or Chase Young or anything like that. And Michigan just did exactly what we're seeing on TV right now. Just gashed them running the football. And things broke out right for them. Certainly it did. They came down. They got a score. But more than that, D-Mac, and more than that, T-Foss, they did to Ohio State what I was critical about Michigan. They made Ohio State kick field goals. And when you kick field goals in modern college football, T-Foss, which Ohio State is a prototypical modern college football team, when you kick field goals, T-Foss, you lose.
In the NFL, too.
Yeah.
Can't kick field goals.
Can't kick field goals,
done.
man. And Ohio State did that. And Cade McNamara did what he does. And look, for everybody that's jumping in, and I'll go down the list right now of everybody that is jumping on me and stuff like that. And that's fine. I'm a big boy. I can take that. There's no doubt about that. That's fine. And look, all the talks about Aiden Hutchinson and people want him to win the Heisman and stuff like that now, and I get it. He had his moment in his big 3 sacks. David Ojabo, and you guys know this, talked about him all season long. He's still getting glossed over in all this and all the Aiden Hutchinson hype. David Ojabo plays a huge part in Aiden Hutchinson's success, the same way that Aiden Hutchinson plays a part in David Ajabo's success.
Well,
David Ajabo's special, too,
yeah,
man.
but here's the thing. Listen to both of them talk, and they know it. And they knew it going in that this is the biggest game of their careers, and they had to play the way that they did. And if you watch the tape, they feed off each other, and they did exactly what they needed to do. The numbers speak for themselves, but the eyeball test on both sides, of the line of scrimmage. And we talk about Hassan Haskins and 5 touchdowns in the rushing. You talk about what Cade McNamara did. You talk about what Michigan, and it started when I was listening to the game at the beginning, and Ohio State called tails and won the coin toss, right? And I brought it up last week. If Michigan State had won, do you want the ball first? Now, they deferred, and Michigan did exactly what they needed to do, go down and score. Then they held them, and then they threw the pick. There's the adversity. What I saw is them not buckle, not go, okay, you know what? We missed that opportunity. Then they got down. But then they dug into something that they'd learned from themselves in coming back against Penn State late in the game. And what I saw is a team that believed in themselves, and a team that went out and had all the pressure, the biggest game for this program, for this coach, and they went out and they executed. And what you said is all over the field. You got 3 wide receivers that are NFL wide receivers.
They were good still, man.
You see that. But to say that, the bend but don't break, and Michigan did what they needed to do. If they could hold Ohio State, which other teams weren't able to hold them to field goals, and they did what they needed to do, and then they scored. Michigan put up 42. They held them to 27. You hold them under 30 points, and you win, and that's what happens, and it was great to see. And I think, I read it in the comment, somebody said that, hey, this win makes me not feel bad how bad the Lions are. And you know what? Some people are going to be like that.
Is there a person or organization more thankful, T-Foss, for what happened Saturday than the Detroit Lions?
No, Lions are still bad. Yeah, you can gloss that over and everything, but the bottom line, at some point, we're going to discuss again about what is wrong with this team. And, no, I think the person that should be happiest should be Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell should be fired as coach of the Lions at the end of this season. One, you don't learn on the job to be an NFL coach. That's what his defenders say. Well, he's learning on the job. Forget that. Does a pilot of a 747, is he learning on the job?
I hope not,
when he has a jumbo jet with 500 people on there? No. If you're doing fries and shakes at McDonald's, yes, you're learning on the job. You're not going to harm anybody. But, this whole learning on the job stuff, and this man does not learn from his mistakes. He's still doing draw plays on 3rd and 31. He's still kicking field goals when he should be going for touchdowns, when he should be busting kneecaps. Now he turns into a little angel, and he's real cute and everything. But the man, bottom line, man doesn't know what he's doing. So he should be the one most thankful for what Michigan did this weekend.
On our YouTube chat, though, remember, you can get involved. If you're watching our YouTube channel, tap in there, and the numbers are big. And certainly we figured that they would be. MPWMU said, I'm here for Neil's Big Cope, LOL. Let me see. Chuck Brewer, I was told Harbaugh can't beat LSU, so I'm guessing Ohio State won. And look, I'm keeping it positive for Michigan. I got a lot of friends that are Michigan fans. I'm happy that they're happy. Like, that's fun. Like, I don't I don't get any glee, from I just tell you what I think things are going to be, which I did on Wednesday when I told you I think they'll be able to run the football on this Ohio State team and they can control things and they can win the game, which is exactly what they did. But that's fine. I can stand it. I can stand up here again and get to it. But here's my one question, and I wanted to save this for later, but I figure I'm going to get to it right now. And T-Foss, I need your help with this.
Okay.
Am I wrong? And I get the euphoria, and I know that there's factors that go into this. I know that because you're given the state of Detroit sports now with the professional teams, and the Red Wings are clawing, and they're certainly doing their thing. The Pistons are the Pistons, the Tigers, and the Lions, obviously. It's been a real dry spell, so I know that there's some added euphoria with anything that's positive, and this is the first team that's been positive in a long time. So I get that, and I expected that. But so this automatically washes away all the Harbaugh sin. To be 1-5, to not be able to beat Michigan State. Does it automatically absolve him of all the previous sin? Or
now,
no?
In the short term it does. But if he goes and gets his ass kicked against Ohio State next year, then it's right back again. Right now, I think what you're having this feel-good glow because we thought that Ohio State was probably out of reach for Michigan and the rest of the Big Ten. Now they're not. And then Michigan finally beats them, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that this block M is so powerful. The block M is loved by so many people that if they show any signs of hope and dreams or whatever, the people are going to go nuts. Now, this is how powerful the block M is. Michigan lost to Michigan State, right? After the game, Michigan people said, we're still better than them. We better than them. So we should be ranked ahead of them, even though we lost to them. And then Michigan State may have validated by losing to Purdue. But that shows the attitude. But the thing that I'm curious about, I've seen everybody, not everybody, except Spartan fans, there's a lot of euphoria around here. And people walking around with their chests up high. You can only do this in sports. This is the power of sports. And there's a lot of people say, I don't pay attention to sports. It's not important. It's toys and games. That's not true. You have businessmen. You have accountants. You have janitors. You have security guards all walking around like, yeah, look what we did. We are feeling good because, A, people hate Ohio State in this state. Ohio State looked like they wanted to run away with the Big Ten and just keep it to themselves, and so then Michigan beats them, and so that's why you have this euphoria around here, and it's well deserved.
No, it is, and they did it exactly the way that I would have thought that they would have been able to do it before then. But as far as the Aiden Hutchinson thing, and the chat thread right now is blowing up to the Lions, Hutchinson #1. Hold on here a second, guys. I think that they're
okay.
His
What? I
success.
say that too. Hutchinson to the Lions, damn it.
we're going all. Hey, I'll give it to you guys today. All right, I'll give it to you guys today. You're feeling yourself. It's been a very dry desert in the sports scene around here for a very long time. So hey, you guys want to do it today? You guys want to do it up? Again, I'm a big Ojabo guy. I am. Remember, guys, this guy didn't start playing football till junior year of high school.
But he's not coming out for the draft this year.
I know he's not, but. I mean, he's a freak, Terry.
He's a beast, but Aiden Hutchinson has been a beast all year.
Yeah, he has. He's been good.
He's very good. And, I keep, everybody says, well, you got to take Thibodeau from Oregon. Okay. I try to watch this guy play, but whenever I see him play, he doesn't play either. He's got a bad back, bad foot, bad knees, bad breath. Everything's keeping him out of the lineup. I want a guy that actually plays. So Hey, just me. I'm old-fashioned that way, but I like people who are actually on the
You're
field.
the guy of lozenge.
Absolutely. But, hey, if you're going to be watching the games on the field, there's only one answer for if you want to get down, you know what I'm saying. That is my friends at MyBookie. Hope you didn't fill up on Turkey Day, because at MyBookie, the fun is just getting started. Cyber Monday. Today, MyBookie's giving you a bet one, get one free promotion on the Monday Night Football game. All you have to do, today's Monday Night Football game, bet against the spread on the Monday Night Football game. Whatever your wager, up to $100, you'll receive that same value back in a risk-free bet for Week 13's Monday Night Football game. It's a buy one, get one at MyBookie, the only sports book where buy one, get one means you're the one holding the bag. Don't miss out. Head to mybookie.ag this Monday to get in on this exclusive promotion. And look, guys, it's pretty simple. Cyber Monday, as we said, you want to get in on the action. Get those futures down. Michigan, I think I saw somewhere Michigan to win the national title still like 7-1, because you got to lay money. You got to lay 2-1 with Georgia. So Georgia's a heavy favorite. If you believe, get in there. Get you 7 to 8-1 on Michigan to win the national title. Just go to mybookie.ag. Set yourself up for success. You'll double your first deposit using the promo code Woodward at MyBookie. That's promo code Woodward. Double your initial deposit all the way up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Have a problem with sports gambling? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline. 1-800-270-7117.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Off and running here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule, back in the saddle, four-time Stanley Cup champion. D-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house, Detroit sports media icon. T-Foss, Terry Foster, in the Terry Foster Chair of Pleasure.
National treasure.
National treasure, man. Happy to have you all along for the ride if you're watching on YouTube. Listening on radio, 93.5 The Roar, also 94.7 WCSX HD2, and 99.1 FM. Don't forget about the podcast page, too. You know, if you missed the show or whatever, subscribe to that podcast page on iTunes, Big D Energy. Whole show goes right to your phone. Fast forward, rewind, everything like that. I asked the question, does this absolve the sins of Jim Harbaugh? Is it wiped clear now that he's 1-5 against Ohio State? Vinny Assad says, I want to see the consistency. I want to see them beat Ohio State more than once. Chuck Brewer says, Neil's taking it great respect. Hey, I told you guys, I'm honest with it. And yes, to some degree, I saw this coming. And D-Mac's he's my witness, I guess you would
Absolutely.
say. He's my alibi confirmer.
I'm the truth purveyor, accountability.
You are, absolutely. Drummer Boy 33 says, Neil, let us enjoy this. I am. I said that. Take your victory lap. Give Hutchinson the Heisman. Let the Lions take him number one. All of it. Get it in today, guys. Go ahead and get it in.
Hey, settle down. That's the stuff right there. You acting that way that's why you get him up. So now
this guy
he goes in. See, my whole point, right? And that's where you are baiting. I'm going to call you a taunting. You're taunting. I'm not flagging you. I'm warning you. Okay, I'm warning you because you're taunting them. But here's my point, right? And I told you before the show. It reminded me of when we beat Colorado in the 97 playoffs, in the conference finals. And that was to relate it to getting through Colorado
That was your Ohio State.
That was our Ohio State. And I remember, because I was always the last one off the ice, but it was standing there, and Joey Kosher, who we call Papa, comes up. He's the last one there, and I, give him a big hug, and I go, man, Papa, this is friggin' awesome, like this. And I'm all excited, and he whispers in my ear, and he goes, the next one's even better, right? And which put everything in perspective. So I put into perspective how Michigan fans enjoy this right now. But you made your way to Indy for the final. You still got games to win. You have this Ohio game, so you better Iowa game to come out and and win the championship, but your job's not done. So enjoy this, right? The fan base, you've earned this. This is 7 years of trying to get there for whatever else. Why are we thinking about Ohio State beating them next year? Michigan State? No. Games at hand. Focus on this season. We'll comment after their game next weekend, and we'll comment after to see where they're ranked and stuff, but they've put themselves in a position to succeed, and congratulations to all of them. That's what Michigan fan base, we've been waiting for.
Here's the thing in sports, you always have to validate. For instance, we were talking about the miracle on ice with Team USA beating Russia. That wasn't for the gold medal. They had to beat Finland the next day or the day, 2 days after to validate. When the bad boy Pistons, when they finally got through the Boston Celtics, they had to validate. They actually had to go play the Lakers and then Portland in the NBA Finals. They had to validate. So your job is not done. And not Michigan. It beat bad-ass Ohio State, finally. But now you have to validate. If you lose to Iowa, guess what? You're not going to the, the semifinals or the national championship. You still would not have won a Big Ten title, which Jim Harbaugh was hired to do. So you have to validate. This feels good now, but if you don't validate, then some of the shine is removed.
One more, couple quick comments here. D. Smitty says exactly that they need to focus on Iowa. And Juice's Ghost says he was here for this today. He says, yes, D-Mac, Iowa's up next. Let's go. What do you got, Fish?
Hey, I want to say about something that happened on the game on Saturday. Michigan fans stormed the field. I thought it was stupid.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
I just thought it was stupid that they stormed the field because if Michigan's a top team like we say they are, they should be beating Ohio State more than once every 10 years.
But they haven't, so wait a sec.
I get where Fish is coming from. I do. Would Ohio State have stormed the field? Would Ohio State have stormed the field?
No,
if they
because
won
here's the whole
every
thing.
year. There's no reason to storm
Here's
the
the
field.
whole thing. It's all
I'm not saying he's right.
It's
I'm
all
just saying I get where he's coming
situational. No,
from.
in this situation, this is where you're allowed. That's 7 years. That's hard. That's all coming into what everybody's invested in. It's the same thing as you're not supposed to storm the field in a pro football game, but I think that's the Lions might get stormed the field if they ever win a playoff game. So that's just see, Fish, when you say that, I revert back to you're a purist. Right? The premier soccer, rugby, cricket. You know what? So you are actually Benjamin Button in there at 90 years old to say that. In this situation, no, but I do understand what you're talking about, but I thought I was jealous. I wanted to be there.
And I like when people storm the field. I'm not get those kids off the field. I like when they storm the field.
You just did.
Right. No, I like when they storm the field.
Do you not think that this was a special occasion where it
see, well, here you go. Chef Chris Smith, absolute facts from Fish.
It was a special occasion. I agree with that. But they're not storming the field if you're supposed to beat Ohio State once or
absolute
twice.
facts. That's absolute crap from Fish. Look, Michigan is supposed to be a top program. I agree. But they haven't been.
Right.
They haven't won the Big Ten in 20-something years. They haven't beaten Ohio State in 8 years or whatever. So Michigan was in the I call it the pot because they haven't done everything that they were supposed to do. So now you finally get big bad Ohio State in your house and you beat them. And I thought they beat them thoroughly. So you stormed the field. Are you going to tell a bunch of college kids that, okay, your team just beat Ohio State and you're supposed to say, okay, that was really nice. Let's go on and study for biology now. We're done.
Well,
no,
they better do it again next year.
Huh?
They better do it again next year.
Yeah, but next year is not until next year.
Yeah, why are we next year? Let's go beat Iowa. Let's go see if we can make a statement. I mean, this is the biggest win for Harbaugh, and you could see the relief and the hug after the game, but the excitement, and everybody's into it, and God, they needed that. With everything going on around that, with Anderson and all this stuff like this, it gives, some sort of semblance. I was happy because we got, as far as different things going on in the state, football-wise, that's the one thing that we've been able to cheer about.
Right, and that's where it goes back to, right?
And to say, somebody asked me, is D-Max Wolverine-dom over his Sparty-dom now? You guys got to remember, I'm a state of Michigan fan. That's being Canadian. I have diplomatic immunity, sports fan-wise. So, yes, I'm excited for them, but just excited for state, and I hope Michigan wins, and they do it, because they put themselves in this position. So let's go.
YT Sparty says it wasn't just about beating Ohio State, it was about going to the playoffs. Well, they haven't gone to the playoffs yet.
Yeah, still got to beat Iowa.
Still got to beat Iowa. And
you got to validate.
And especially that Iowa team. Especially
don't
against
sleep
Iowa.
on that Iowa team. They came back to Nebraska.
No.
I know they're not
Yeah.
good. I
But
know they're
they
not
said
good.
Nebraska.
I know.
I was
Against
told,
Nebraska.
yeah.
But you still have to come back against whether you look at Alabama. They almost lost to Auburn and probably should have lost to Auburn.
Tammy Chin says, I love watching the celebration. I'm thankful nothing was burned after the game on Saturday. You knew that was going to make an appearance. You knew that was it. And Tammy's not coming from a place of malice or anything like that.
No, but that's,
But that's a quote that goes out there, though,
Nah,
Tammy.
that is reality, though.
reality. We saw it.
Yeah, Michigan people make fun of Michigan State people for burning couches. Well, guess what? Michigan had the biggest win in forever, and guess what? No couches suffered because of that. So they can still hold that over Michigan State people. I don't know why Spartans have to burn couches and stuff like that. I mean, you have your fun, you celebrate, have your booze and beer and whatever, and do that. Now, my son is a sophomore at Michigan State. I told him if he burns a couch or is photographed next to a burning couch, I'm going to kill him. I will absolutely kill the boy.
No, and you know what? Yeah, that's college sports. We're showing it on the YouTube channel right now. That's college sports. That's part of what makes college sports great. That's what sustains college sports, Terry, because the players change. The players come, the players go. It's
right.
always different. The jersey's always the same. That emotion is always the same. And that's why I do love college football. I'll tell you what, college football is probably my favorite sport to watch as a fan. It is. I mean, more than the NFL. I've always been a college football over the NFL guy. And the reason being because I've talked about this in the past, you can root for a team that plays a style you like. There's different styles to all the different teams around the country. Or the NFL, it's a 4-3 or a 3-4, and everybody does the same thing, and everybody does the same thing on offense all the time. There's nothing innovative, and then when somebody does come up with something innovative, the entire league copies it, and that's all they do. And for me, for college football, I loved when June Jones was at Hawaii and the 5 wides and all that kind of stuff. I love that stuff. I do. But college football, I don't have a problem with it, Fish. Yes, Ohio State wouldn't have stormed the field, but it's a different scenario. It's a different situation. And for Michigan, all for it, man. Run out on the field, do it up.
Here's where college football falls short for me. You're basically playing a 3 or 4 game schedule. If you're Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, and you beat Illinois, everybody says, so? If you beat Nebraska, it's like, big deal. If you beat Illinois, it's like, okay, that's nice. So you don't get credit for beating teams in your conference who are supposed to be your peers. That's what I don't like about college football. Most games are not premium games. Most games you just kind of go there, watch, tailgate, and go. Now you have your what the Big Ten has done at the end. You got Ohio State, Michigan State. You got Penn State, Michigan, and you got all these games. Now we're paying attention, but it's at the end of the season, and Michigan and Michigan State were unbeaten when they played each other. It got some hype, but still, each team was able to look at the other one and say, you know what, you're not that good. You haven't played anybody yet. That's why it falls short for me.
Oh, and I do get that, Terry. Certainly I do.
Hey, before you hit that, right? I read a comment, and this is important because I just saw that Mike McCarthy tested positive. The coach for the Cowboys would be out. JC brought up in the thread with the storm in the field. Is anybody worried there's COVID? From all the fans that any of the players or the team moving into the next week, like that's something that the reality we're talking about, truce or whatever, that hadn't thought about. But because of the new variant and stuff, does that have an effect on moving forward.
Not when you're 0-5 against Ohio State, D-Mac. There are certain things that just go out the window.
No, I'm talking moving forward. No, I know out the window, but I'm saying now that it is, because I'm not saying that. I'm just bringing up the facts that I didn't think about, that the reality as we see all over, as we see, I think the New York Islanders had a couple games called. We've seen, throughout different leagues.
It is starting to work its way through again.
But like, you're watching, it's like looking at the view of ants, right? Going on a piece of bread, people out of the stands. And that's just something that you'll have to keep your ear to, that I thought was a real good. JC brought up a really good point there that had nothing to do with it. Now, you're not going to stop. I don't care if you say they're going to tell them not to go. They're all going because of winning, like you said, being 0-5 and stuff. But
did you just bring up the variant?
I did.
Nobody's going to be thinking about the variant.
No, I didn't say there's. Listen,
well, the most rare
I'm not
variant.
saying that. I'm saying the fact that they charged the field and the fact that it happened moving forward, right? Is this not what we have to look to see if something might happen because you have 100,000 and 200 people on the field? I'm just saying, moving forward, that's what I wasn't thinking about it then. No one's thinking about it then. I'm thinking about it now, moving ahead with championship games coming up, because we see it all around. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it wasn't going to supersede the new variant in college football, which was Michigan beating Ohio State. That was a variant in and of itself. There's a lot of variants.
I'm just saying that is this a possibility? And if you're asking me, you have to watch out, because it could be a possibility that something happened the way that we're seeing it all around. I just wanted to bring it up. I thought it was a great point.
Chris says, for sure, Neil, college football is better than NFL all day. To me, too. More variety of play, more history, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, that's my thing with it. That's why I'm always more of a college football guy. Plus, you get the late night Saturday night. Get right. UCLA against Cal. Didn't have to sweat that one, D-Mac.
Nice call.
Didn't have to sweat that one. We're back, baby. Michigan football's back, and the Get Right is back.
The Get Right and Michigan and everybody, and it just so beautiful. I mean, you're talking football. You can even. What if you wanted to play?
What if you wanted to toss a football at some bowling pins? Then Folding Warehouse is the spot for you. If you're feeling it, you want to get out. The holiday party season is upon us. Folding Warehouse is a great option for that. Corporate parties, team building events, or just come on in with your family and friends. I got a $10 unlimited open play option. Slide on through there, pay your $10, play all day long. You can also reserve a lane as well for up to 10 people for a couple of hours. Get your family out there, get your friends out there. There's over 100 beers available. They have a $2 mystery beer vending machine, which is great in and of itself. There's multiple full bars as well. Another great part about it, too, you can bring your own food, or you can have food delivered to you right at the Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck. Guys, you're going to be out downtown, out and about. Slide by the Folding Warehouse. Great game. It certainly is a lot of fun. Woodward Sports will be out there on Tuesday night for their holiday party, and you can book your holiday party out there as well. Get your fold on. Check it out at foldingwarehouse.com.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We're recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. D-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house. T-Foss, Terry Foster as well. Fish is in the bowl. Sawyer is here in the building. Stick was in for me last week, and it certainly did. It was appreciated, no doubt about that. I'll be in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday this week. Then we got to go to Chicago and Indianapolis because conference play starts for college basketball, believe that or not. But we're moving along, man.
Moving out RPI, baby. Moving out RPI.
Number one team in the nation. Somebody said in the chat thread, they said leading the nation in RPI in November is like winning the September Heisman. So, I felt a lot like Michigan. I felt a lot like a Michigan fan, celebrating that. There it was, a Gulf Coast Showcase champion. They told me, they're in there cleaning the locker room. I'm like, hey, can I help anybody do anything? They're like, yeah, carry that thing. And they told me to carry the trophy. They put a lot of trust in me.
Well, there you go. But it's like this show. It's championships. I mean, you got trophies. I got
the best
rings.
thing about that?
Terry's got medals.
You're wearing a short sleeve polo shirt because it's 77 degrees there every single day.
Thanks for that. As the snow's just coming down.
I know,
crazy.
man. The party was over, but the party's only starting for the Michigan football fans. And I did want to take a couple minutes too. And there was somebody bringing it up, and I guess it doesn't really matter what order I bring this stuff up in. But C.J. Schneider says they're talking about actually. Intel Cavton says, if Cade wins a Big Ten championship, does JJ start next year? And CJ Center says Cade starts next year regardless. And I, honest to God, and I'm not like looking to pull apart stuff and things like that, but T-Foss, you know how this is, man. You got Lincoln Riley leaving in the middle of the night to go to USC, and the transfer portal's real. If you're JJ McCarthy, would you transfer?
No. I think he's gotten opportunities to play. He's gotten opportunities to blow games or blow a game for them, and they still love the guy. They still want to play him. Cade McNamara, I'm the guy. If I was McNamara, I'd be like, what's happening around here? I didn't do anything wrong. I led you to a Big Ten title, perhaps. Victory over Ohio State, perhaps. Definitely happened. 11-1 season, and you still want to put my job in jeopardy? Hell no. I didn't do anything wrong.
I think his stock, right, has grown, and I think that, the conversation might be because of how he's played and he's improved. And give it to J.J. McCarthy because they used him on Saturday effectively. Came in and, was effective, in my opinion, to what he used. But this puts more of, we're always saying, is J.J. McCarthy going to leave, right? What about, Terry brings up a great point. Cade McNamara put more balls and more decisions in his court to say, hey, you don't show me the respect, why don't I go? And go to somewhere like USC or something like that with the quarterback whisperer or something like that can improve on him. So I think that right now, coming into it with this more success, you would think that they'd stay with Cade McNamara, but you don't know. They obviously have the affinity for McCarthy. So that's an interesting, that'll be interesting, not only as the team plays and whether they win or not, but also this quarterback doesn't become a controversy.
Yeah, and again, with that, we'll talk about that more as that comes up. But if you're J.J. McCarthy, you think you're an NFL quarterback, like you're going to college to play in the NFL.
That's what everybody tells you, and the way you're recruited.
If something's getting in the way of getting to the NFL, then you're going to fix it. I mean, that's just the way it is. But that's another,
But that's the thing, if they're going to go to that. But I think before we always took into account that McNamara didn't have a choice. I think he's putting himself in a spot where he will have a choice to make on his future too.
Yeah.
And he proved something huge wrong. Well, you can't beat Ohio State as a game manager. Well, he did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he's still a game manager.
You know what I liked? And when you saw it, and obviously the score first and stuff, but when he threw that pick early, and you went back to it, and the look on his face was it wasn't like the end of the world. It was like man, like I try or something like this, but it was like okay, I saw it. It was like one of those things that you gave me it and you didn't. You're not going to fool me again, right?
But that's why the whole thing.
It was the confidence when I looked at him, and I was like. They're going to be all right. And then Ohio State made their push, got ahead, and then you're expecting, is this it? And then no, because game manager. And the one thing I like about Cade McNamara, no matter what, is the resiliency, but he knows who he is, and he plays within himself. Self-awareness. And at that age and in college, that's impressive.
No, it is. And the whole thing for me, too, was talking about Cade McNamara and just Michigan in general, even Aiden Hutchinson. They were so very anti-Michigan of the last 5 years, where when something did go against them, didn't faze them. And not only did it not faze them, they responded in kind. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was personal for these guys.
It was.
And that's what I enjoyed. I always felt in the past, like when Ohio State was coming in and hanging 62 on them and beating them 62-39, I never felt like it was personal. It felt like it was personal from second one until minute 60.
Well, to me, when you say, and Ryan Day quoted as we're going to put 100 on him last year and didn't play, so that permeates. And when you have somebody wanting to utterly blatantly, that's blatantly disrespect. Like, I'm going to come in there and slap your dad and eat,
right.
kiss your mom.
Yeah, but he didn't say 100 points or 100 yards. Which one was it?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't, right, exactly. But the fact is that, so the resilience in the team, and that's what you saw, the fight all throughout. These guys played together, Michigan. And when you play like that, believe in each other, and the way on offense and on defense they can make it go, who knows what's happened. This is the year, right? This is the year that I think Alabama and Georgia and these teams can be got. I mean, how interesting would it have been if Auburn could have pulled off that upset against Alabama? That would have really thrown things into a loop. So,
and that's been the constant, too, that I've talked about with college football this year. Is it a down year for college football? It's a down year for college football. Is that fair to say? And the reason I say that is look across the quarterback landscape. The year the Lions are finally going to have the number 1 pick, there's no quarterback to be seen anywhere in college football, Terry.
Lions,
which leads to it being a quote unquote down year for college football, because there's no great quarterback play out there. And how do we know that? Look at Mac Jones in the NFL. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I mean, damn. And what he did with Alabama. Like, think about that talent that Alabama had. And, oh, by the way, Mac Jones was a quarterback of that team. And look what he's doing now in New England. And then Trevor Lawrence, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Justin Fields. But you know what? You go in and you win this thing. It doesn't mention that in the record books. No. It just says 2021 national champion, Michigan or Georgia or whoever it ends up being.
So I think the big thing is the big boys have come back down to earth a little bit. Alabama never had great quarterbacks until they got Tua and Jalen Hurts.
Right.
They just rolled over people. But now they're a little bit closer to the rest of the pack. Ohio State, a little bit closer to the rest of the pack. So I think that's why we think college football is down, because the big boys are not these unbeatable monsters anymore.
Mike G says, speaking of college football being down, rule breaker wearing Clemson colors. Where are they? Easy. This is just like a regular
That's
Nike.
peach.
Yeah, it's like a regular Nike, one of those newfangled collared golf shirts.
Well, you're going to be so busy, you're wearing all your golf gear because you're going to have to put the clubs away.
Yeah, I'll never be playing golf again next year.
Yeah, Neil, you're not in 80-degree weather anymore, pal. Just to let you know.
I wish. I only wish. Every time I go down there too, Terry, I think to myself, look, they have like cars and stores and people have jobs and houses. Like, they live down here, Terry. Right. They choose to.
So when are you going down there?
Miami Heat, Orlando Magic. You got any contacts with them, man?
I know a couple people.
Yeah, all right.
They don't have that kind of clout.
Hey, D-Mac's got some
special
D-Mac's
delivery,
got some people for you.
Special delivery. Thank you. Oh, guys, I got the machete back. Guess what? Hassan Haskins, nice job. I gave it to him. Michigan running back. Went over 160 and 5 touchdowns. You, too, can get the coastportland.com machete and use WSN20 for 20% off. Yes, we got machetes and knives and outdoor lights and everything for your do-it-yourselfer or your outdoor. We got snow. They got shovels. Everything that you need. You too can go to coastportland.com, use WSN20. Tell them Big D Energy sent you. Neil Rule, T. Foss, the National Treasure, and Darren McCarty. We'll be right back. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. Did you know mortgage rates are still at generational lows? If you haven't refinanced your home loan yet, there's still time. Now is your second chance to refinance. You could lower your monthly payment, eliminate credit card debt, or even take cash out by using your home's equity. Call Hall Financial now to get started with your free 5-minute mortgage review. 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
Off and running here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Been a Michigan-dominated discussion. You don't get this too often on a Monday. And fortunately for all of us, the Lions have been pushed down to at least the second hour. We'll get into it to some degree, but it was a big weekend. It was a big weekend.
Terry's face. Terry's face, just like he got it. It's like he got the pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie put in front of him, and somebody just took it away from him. He was so. Man, do we have to?
We're rolling on this show. Now you got to bring up the Lions, man.
That's what he does.
That's
what he does.
His face was like mine on Wednesday night at the Tiki Bar at Fort Myers Beach at 1:45 when they put those lights on and called last call. Oh no!
Is that what, hey, finish your drink, grab your championship, and walk out. Yeah,
and walk out exactly. Tons of people watching on our YouTube chat thread. I'm sure will be listening on the radio as well. Remember, smash that like button on our YouTube channel. That's what all the YouTubers my kids watch. They're always saying, smash that like button. So go ahead and feel free to push that like button. Help us out. No, but appreciate everybody interacting. The chat thread's on fire. The social media interaction, everything. People are hyped, and yeah. You know what? Go for it, man. Chris Canoe says Michigan is 10-1 on FanDuel to win the national championship. And look, I told you on Wednesday, DMAC, loved Michigan over a score, at over a touchdown. Love that number. Michigan at 10-1 to win the national title. That's more than worth a spin.
Oh, absolutely.
More than worth a spin.
Absolutely. You got to figure that, they've put themselves in that position, and you're not going to get better odds. Like you said, what are you going to, if you're a betting guy, what did you say? 2-1 is Georgia? Well, 10-1 is Michigan. That's something to cover your bet with.
Yeah,
follow the odds, and you know what? Like you said, they moved up to 7. They go down to 7 or whatever like this. The more they win, they put themselves in that conversation. But I think it's can they use this game and everything from what I've seen, because of what you mentioned before, it's team. Right? You see that this was personal. This season's personal. It goes back to the conversations what Joint Bell sitting telling us preseason, that the message is different. The talk wasn't, we're not the best, who's got it better than us. It wasn't the rap song. It wasn't all this flare and glare. It was more business. And we're seeing that on the field. They've taken a more business approach this year, but it's also, could be the most team that I've seen out of the University of Michigan on the same page. Right, on the same page. Brought in McDonald as the defensive coordinator. Josh Gaddis probably called his greatest game as a Michigan offensive coordinator. So, like the fact that what they did is they found the secret, and the secret is that they all play for each other.
T-Foss, I do have to bring this one up to you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say there's an attitude, too. And we saw that at halftime when the Ohio State players were going to the locker room. And the Michigan players, man, usually they just go off and don't say anything. Basically, they're saying, bitch, get out of our house.
Yeah.
I know we only up on 1, but you about to get it in the second half.
I like that,
That's an attitude that Michigan hasn't had in a long time.
And that was, again, that goes back to it being personal for them. Instead of just, having their lunch money taken every single year and then they kind of walk back to the classroom after recess, it wasn't like that for a change. They punched back. And, you did talk about it, DMAC, and there was the emotion that they showed. Aiden Hutchinson at the meeting with the press afterwards, he was like, they took shots at us. We took that personal. I mean, the Harbaugh thing, and again, I don't absolve Harbaugh of his sins. I still don't. I'm not huge on him as a coach as far as the chess match goes and all those types of things. But I will say this too: the Harbaugh thing, T-Foss. I want to get your take on this. Where his line, where he was talking about everyone assumed it was Ryan Day when he said some people were born on third and think they hit a triple. Like, I thought
that was Ryan Day.
Yeah, million percent it was.
Tacky, but
Okay, I just the media guy, you being the media guy, and so I thought that was a little extra. You got to be better than 1 and 5 before you start dropping lines like that. Well, and I know it's not. I know it's 1 and 1 versus Ryan Day, so save that.
My man said we want to drop 100 on you. Okay, that's personal. And then Michigan, didn't play him last year, so Michigan may have punked out last year. Didn't want to play these guys. But this year, I attribute to what we see in Michigan to the young, new coaches they put on that staff. Mike Hart, Ron Bellamy, McDonald. I mean, they can relate better to players than the old guy who's in his 70s, and he might know a little bit more, but sometimes you got to be youthful. Sometimes you got to have that youthful approach to beat a team like Ohio State. And I think whatever these coaches reach these players and like, don't be afraid of them. And I think in years past, Michigan came out. I call it the Mike Tyson legacy, where you come out when you fought Mike Tyson, you were beaten before you actually stepped into the ring, and I think that was the same way with Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah, no, I think that you brought up a great point, and the guy that you brought up was Bellamy, right? So West Bloomfield coach championship out of high school and stuff like this in the area, guy that's played for UAM. That's where it's at, and you see that locker room, but bringing the guys together. And to your point, Terry, that's where it is. And sometimes you have to show them or tell them that they're better than that. Give them and exude the confidence in them, because they went out and they played that way. They played fearless, but they played smart. And I don't know about you guys, but with all how many no offensive holding penalties and the penalty, like the discipline of the penalty calls and stuff like this was great. You know,
like two penalties the whole game.
But and here's the thing, right? The way that they had to play that way to go out. We talk about it. How do the Lions? How are they going to get a win every day? They got to do. Well, Michigan played like you predicted, like I predicted, other people, in how they had to win the game. But it starts in the locker room with the self-confidence, self-awareness. And it seemed like for the first time in the Ohio State-Michigan series, Michigan had the ups in the confidence. And you brought it up, too, because you're engaged, right? When you're ready to fight at halftime or get involved, push and shove, or that's engagement. And to your point, Neil, earlier, that's personal. And they took it personal. Man. And maybe in the past, it wasn't personal, right? They had to get it to the personal and even to the coach. So, yeah, But what do you take of the Harbaugh comment? I mean, it's just...
No, it was a shot.
It was a shot, but he gave a shot back. You know what I mean? Right. It's like touche. It's like badminton.
Exactly. He didn't mention him by name, but, coaches do that all the time. No, they try to be respectful, but they get their little digs on people.
They do. You know what else I thought of when I was watching that game? When I watched Donovan Edwards get out there for the couple plays he got out there, that dude's dynamic too. They're gonna have to figure out something with Blake Corum and Donovan. I mean, Donovan Edwards can play.
Well, I think one of the big things is, Terry, to your point, I saw somebody bring it up, is that one of the big things about this game, what it did because of senior day or whatever, but the recruiting, right? To win that game, to be in that stadium, if you're bringing in all your high recruits, what other sell do you want? I mean, we mentioned the equipment and stuff like this, but that atmosphere, and to be able to, like, as a professional sports, as an athlete, to me, it reminded me of, winning the cup at home, 97, just that electric atmosphere where it's so loud and everybody's onto it. Matt Leinart, who was doing the Fox game and obviously USC and been to Rose Bowls and national championships and stuff, he said that was the most electrifying atmosphere that he's been a part of. So, in recruiting-wise, I'd be interested to see who was at that game to see what it is, because that's a big part of it too.
Which is amazing. So Michigan fans actually can get excited, because I've had this debate with Braylon Edwards about how lame the Michigan fan base is, and he says, "Well, the arena is open and the sound just dissipates." That's baloney. If you have a rabid fan base, you can turn that stadium into a pit. The bottom line is Michigan fans have not been rabid, but they had something to be angry about this week. So it shows that Michigan fans can turn that stadium into a pit. They just choose not to. So that was something refreshing to see.
It's funny too, because obviously living here, have a lot of friends that are Michigan fans. Have some very good friends that are Ohio State fans, and it was interesting to see. And I pulled it up because I wanted to read it to you guys. And this guy, my good buddy that is Ohio State fan, he's never one that says the refs or the weather or this call. He's very stand up about it and says we in no way, shape, or form were good enough to be in that football game, to do anything about it. Essentially saying they took our manhood from the line of scrimmage, which they did, which they certainly did. He says Ryan Day needs to make some changes on both sides of the ball. More importantly, the defense. They need to fire people. This is unacceptable. I do see the good of this, though, because he will have to have hard conversations and decisions to make regarding his staff. Start a new streak next season. 11 wins is not a bad season. Just can't lose to the Wolverines, which ultimately makes the season a complete failure. That's the level they live at.
Yep. Damn.
Every single
tight.
year. That's the level they live at every single year. And that, Terry, is my point where I circle back. Did you ever get a sense like that from Michigan fans? From that text, I just, like, your eyes opened up when I read that text. That's where they live.
But that's where they have lived. They feasted on. It's sort of like I make the joke that somebody from Chicago or St. Louis, when they come up and meet me, I go, "You're going to thank me for retiring so you could win." Right, but that's what they're used to every year is beating Michigan, and the respect that they have for the two Michigan teams isn't there. They expect to beat them every year.
Yeah.
So when it doesn't happen,
and this was telling the last part of it that he sent me. It's obvious they need to take advantage of the portal and retool the running game. We've got to get a monster running back in here. And by the way, C.J. Stroud is a monster. He's going to be a problem, which is all true. All that is true. And that's what concerns me a little bit about Ohio State, and so I think there's validity in what my buddy says, is that, Terry, it's not like they have to go on the recruiting trail now and go find someone and develop them and put 15 pounds of muscle on them. They can just go get that now.
Sure.
Already done.
Right. But see, I think the Michigan fans would have the same attitude if they didn't hire their dream guy. Jim Harbaugh was supposed to be the guy that came in, start beating Michigan and Michigan State right away, win a national title, but he got the honeymoon because people were so enamored with him. This was their dream hire that they let him slide for a little bit. The heat just started getting on Harbaugh a year ago. If it had been anybody else than Jim Harbaugh, they would have been fired by now because they didn't beat Ohio State and they didn't beat Michigan State enough. So that's what you get when you get your dream guy in there, and he doesn't live up to expectations.
Let me tell you about a dream Saturday night for me, T. Foss. I get some ice in a glass, crack open that Gypsy vodka bottle, squeeze a couple of limes in there, pour the hit in there, go back in T-Foss style, one more hit in there, throw some club soda on it. Good to go with Gypsy vodka. It's Michigan's vodka. It's Michigan's gluten-free vodka, if that's your thing. It doesn't really matter a lot to me. I just know that Gypsy vodka is good vodka, and it's going to get me where I need to go. It took 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy is the best tasting smoothest vodka on the market. It's gluten-free, corn distilled 6 times using artesian spring water. Support local guys from right here in the state of Michigan. Try a bottle today. Ask for it by name. It's Gypsy Vodka. And as always, when you're enjoying Gypsy Vodka, enjoy it responsibly.
Big D.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
The pros know. Go! Listen Monday through Friday for Big D Energy Live on the Woodward Sports Network with Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty, former Lion Joik Bell, and the silky voice of Neil Rule.
Rolling up on hour number 2, pulling up on hour number 2, as Joik would say. He'll be back tomorrow. My name is Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, T. Foss, Detroit sports icon in the house here today. Fish, anti-field storing Fish is in the bowl. Sawyer is in the booth as well. And we're off and running. Juices Go says, yo, I love some gin and soda. I do gin and soda, vodka soda. I'm about that and soda
Rolling
life. There is no question. Absolutely.
on.
Scott H.T. Foss wants to know, is Terry an MSU homer?
No.
Are you a Michigan State homer? I never got that.
Terry's
from you.
not a homer.
No,
he's a chip homer.
I'm a state of Michigan man.
Yes.
I want to see all ball club. Like, I don't root for
He's a state treasure, guys.
Right.
He just calls it like it is. He's seen a lot of this over the years.
Yeah, I think what I do is I think I have a I don't know what it is, but like my wife, who's a Spartan, she thinks I hate Michigan State. So
and then
I don't
Michigan
know
people
why.
think you hate Michigan.
And Michigan people think I hate Michigan because I'm not a fanboy of the programs. I like to see them do well. When they play each other all out, I'm rooting for. It's a good game. Just give me a good game when you play against each other.
I'd like to say we're not fanboys, we're fact boys.
That is true. But the thing is, I'm assuming this guy is a Michigan fan. If you don't trumpet the right, if you don't trumpet the beliefs of Michigan people, then all of a sudden you're a Spartan fanboy. Because we talk about misinformation with the Democrats and the Republicans. Michigan people put out misinformation too, and if you don't buy it, that means you're not with the program. That means you're a Spartan.
Well, T-Foss, we're in the era of the narrative, where we can take any piece of information and spin it to our narrative. And we've seen that. If anything, we've learned that, man. Like, we are living in narrative times right now, where you can use things to get in and out of what you want to do, even if it's family based or whatever. All of a sudden, the COVID thing, we can't come over this year. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You can use anything to your narrative. So that's the way it always shakes out. We are going to talk about the college football playoff rankings coming up in just a second. But as DMAC, my guy, he was my witness that saved me through all this today. I think saved me from a lot of flack as far as the YouTube chat thread goes and everything like that. As DMAC astutely pointed out, and that I failed to notice, was we didn't even get in to the Michigan State discussion. With a big win over Penn State, it was cool to watch on TV with the snow and everything like that. Like, there was a lot of cool angles to it. Michigan State kind of ravaged by the flu, missing a lot of guys. In a game that by the time that game kicked off, they were a 6-point underdog. Everybody and their mom was betting on Penn State, which told me right away, DMAC, take Michigan State. Yeah, no doubt about that. But yeah, we're showing some of the video right now on our YouTube channel. But that game was a lot of fun to watch. And I think it was good because of what T-Foss says, where he says he's a state of Michigan man. There are more of those types of fans, I think, around here than we give credit for. Like, we try to put everybody in a box. Like, either you're a Michigan fan or you're a Michigan State fan. One of my very best friends in the world, who was very hyped for Michigan, circled the wagons. We watched the Michigan State Penn State game, and he was excited for them too. He's like, they put together a damn good season.
Dude, we were sitting here at the beginning wondering if they were going to be bowl eligible, right?
Yeah.
Before the season, and what Mel Tucker's done, and the resilience in coming off of a blowout loss to come back and to be able to play Penn State, who is going to play them tough. With the flus, with the no excuses, right? Just to like your Ohio State buddy fan, make no excuses. You got to give the resilience and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, because it's not when it's easy or when it's going good, it's when it's tough and going bad. But that tells me their decision on Mel Tucker, not only with everything else going on with Cliff Kingsbury, and we knew that it would start the college football circle or the contracts or whatever, but he's the right guy. And you see in the dressing room, if you're watching any of the video, these guys fought to the end all season long, no matter what, no excuses. And to have 10-2 and to go to a good bowl and to be able to do it, you got to be proud. I mean, both teams. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and T-Foss, I'll say it like this too, because if I want to say it about Michigan, then I have to say it about Michigan State too, because of the down year in college football and things like that. And the schedule, while on paper, as we went into the season, turned out to be not what we thought it was going to be going in. But that's where I will give them credit, is just from the standpoint of Penn State's not a good football team. They're not. And James Franklin, is maybe one of the most overrated things this side. The
I thought
Queen
you were
of
going to
England.
say the biggest bank robber. He's a train robber.
Well,
Since
no,
biggest train
he's
robber
not because he doesn't even pull a gun. Like he just takes a pen out and
he's
signs
like
a contract.
He's like Leonardo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
he's like the fraud guy. He's getting all the checks.
But you know what, though, T.
God bless them.
They're down starters and things like that. They did what a good football team does. It doesn't matter when a less than team comes in, because that's what Penn State is. That's what James Franklin is. Less than. Tell me a great James Franklin win. I'll wait. But you know what they did? Didn't matter. They were down guys. The elements didn't matter. None of that stuff mattered. They went and they beat them. And they're a good football team. They're a deserved 10-2 football team.
They are. We should be celebrating the greatness of Michigan State this year. But they finished 10-2. They're supposed to finish last or next to last in their division. But to me, what Mel Tucker did, and this is the dense people don't get this, is he looked at his roster and said, this isn't good enough. So he overhauled half the roster, got rid of some people, brought in people in, and then had a fantastic football season. But I will admit, when I watched the Michigan State game against Penn State, because I had just seen Michigan beat Ohio State, my attitude was, who cares?
Right.
This is a nothing game, even though it was an important game.
Right. Yeah. No. At the end of the day, where it doesn't mean anything in the long play, big play of things as far as the college football playoff and stuff like this, but it's huge for the program. And I think it's huge for Mel Tucker. And we were talking about, I see the same things, right, out of Michigan State of playing for one another, playing for the guy beside him as I do in Michigan, right? And the same thing, Michigan has evolved, right? They've gotten better since they've taken that loss to Michigan State, taken that Ohio State, whatever disrespect, and they went out and did it. So, I mean, you're sitting here, both teams, it's crazy. Because I remember the conversations we had predicting what was going to go on this season for both teams.
And it was a grim outlook on all accounts. For everybody, it was a grim outlook.
Isn't it funny how, right, we had more of a optimistic outlook of the Lions? We didn't, they're 4, 5, 6 wins, but nothing to the fact of, because it's not the effort of the guys, more or less, it's the coaching that is the blatant disregard and how to clock manage and 2 timeouts. I know we're going to get to it, but
but you know what happened to us? We fell, and I'll admit I fell for this crap. The Dan Campbell busted the kneecap. He's all enthusiastic. That's why he was hired. But what we didn't know is the man couldn't coach. He's not a good head coach. Yeah, he's a great motivator. He's funny. He's likable, but when it comes down to deciding games, you can't coach. But we didn't know that at the time.
Right.
I know, and T-Foss, I know you're ready to go on the Lions. I could tell by the look on your face earlier. We do have to talk about it, but Sawyer, I do want to sneak this in real quick. Who's going to be the new top 4 in the college football ranking. So, I do want to take a look at that for the last couple minutes of this segment, and then we will get into the NFL stuff, and certainly we'll talk about the Detroit Lions, and we'll spin you around the NFL as well. I teased it a little bit earlier, the thing that really stood out to me, which I think might not be on a lot of people's radars. But, as far as the new top 4 in the college football rankings, look, Georgia's certainly going to be there. Alabama's certainly going to be there. Now, that is subject to change. Michigan will be in there. Cincinnati will be in there. But, Terry, as far as this weekend
sure about
goes.
That?
Yeah, Cincinnati will be in there.
All right, we'll see. Because I don't think they want him in there.
No, I know they don't want him in there. I know that for a fact.
So they put him into 4 to pull him out?
Yeah, they can do that and do anything they want.
They can.
I get it.
I know, D-Mac. Common sense, and I know where you're at, and I know where you're at.
I want to punch somebody in the face. If I was Cincinnati and you did that to me, I would...
Because I would say, what changed,
But you know what? They wouldn't care. So Cincinnati's mad at us. Big deal.
And you know who I think has a really outside shot at this? Now, I think it will take, as we look at the committee rankings, where you see Oklahoma State at 7. I'm not convinced, because at some point Oklahoma State's going to go Oklahoma State and lose a game. And I got a feeling that Baylor is going to do the deed and beat Oklahoma State. keep an eye on Notre Dame, especially, too, if Alabama loses. If Alabama loses and Oklahoma State loses, Notre Dame's going to get in there, and they're going to tweak it, Terry. They're going to tweak it to where Georgia plays Cincinnati and Notre Dame plays Michigan. And then that way they can juice that all-time television rating high twice, 2 times in a row. Because you'll get it when Notre Dame plays Michigan, and then you'll get it with whoever wins that game going up against Georgia.
Now, they can't be blatant enough to put Notre Dame in and Cincinnati not in it.
No, they can't because Cincinnati beat them.
But they could. They could. I'm telling you, they could do anything. But that would be terrible.
It would, and the Associated Press new top 25 is out. Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Cincinnati 3, Alabama 4, Oklahoma State 5. And that doesn't matter at all. Because,
that's the one that don't matter.
Yeah. And also, too, it doesn't matter because it also ensures the fact where if Alabama beats Georgia, they're both in. Georgia's in, no matter what, Terry. We can all agree there, right?
I agree.
No matter what happens, they're in. If Alabama wins, they're in. Can we agree on that?
Bam. Yes.
You can't beat the number 1 team and win the SEC and not be in.
Right.
So they're in. And then what they'll do is they'll tweak it to where Georgia can't play Alabama. Right? They can't play Alabama in the first game anyway.
No.
So then that leaves you with probably Cincinnati, Georgia, and Alabama, Michigan.
Yep.
Those are pretty much the scenarios.
Right now is Michigan 2, Alabama 3, Cincinnati 4, Georgia 1. So,
and that's pretty much the scenario. So I think it depends on the Oklahoma State game a lot.
So then it depends Oklahoma State. So you're saying that they might be the ones to slide into 4. Because they'd rather see Oklahoma State play Georgia.
Yeah, I mean it'll be one of those things where I'll have to look at it. I still think my heart wants to believe where DMAC is. You can't have them in there now and then take them out because Oklahoma State beat Baylor.
I'm just saying, leave them out if you're going to keep them out.
Yeah.
Out of the door. Don't invite them in like they're going to eat.
But you know what both of you are? You're cutie pies.
No,
you're cutie pies because you
T-Foss,
think they're going to do the right thing.
Come up here and pinch my little cheek, T-Foss. Just come up here and pinch my little
red
cheek.
cheeks? Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, just come up there and
I don't know. You're right, Terry, if they're going to do the right thing, but I know that you can do the right thing, especially with the way the weather is out there. Do yourself a favor. Northwestern Tech gets it. Start a new career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu. Darren McCarty, Neil Rule, T-Foss in for Joy Bell, Big D Energy. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. One mortgage myth we hear all the time is having to choose between a 15 or a 30-year fixed term. At Hall Financial, we offer the modern mortgage to create a flexible term that fits your unique financial situation. Our team of mortgage experts are available 7 days a week to review your goals and customize a solution for you. Get started today with a free 5-minute mortgage review at 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
Second hour of the program here on Big D Energy. Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, T-Foss, Terry Foster in the house as well. And we put it off as long as we could. And a big thank you, and this is me, Neil Rule, saying a big thank you to the Michigan Wolverines for beating Ohio State because, T-Foss, they stopped us for 72 minutes. 72 minutes. We didn't have to, on a Monday.
But also the Thursday
Terry
game
got 40 seconds in there. Terry got a good 40 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, you had to mention it. But 72 minutes in before it was a topic on a post-NFL Monday, we didn't mention the Detroit Lions. And you know what, damn it? I think everybody here at Woodward Sports Network deserves your applause, deserves your accolades, because we did the impossible and push it off as long as we can. The flip side of that coin, guys, we do got to talk about it.
10-1. You know, I got in trouble on Twitter because of the stupid Detroit Lions.
Do tell.
Do tell.
People think I make fun of them too much. And I'm like, excuse me, be mad about your football team. Be mad that they're 10-1. Be mad that they've won one playoff game in 60 years. Be mad that looks like they hired another coach who doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Don't be mad at me because I make fun of them. They give me too much material. Be mad at your team. But we're Lion fans. We love them. I said, why? Why? Why do you love this team? Oh, because they're local and in the NFL. That's not a reason. They don't give you reasons to love them.
Because
this is an abusive relationship.
You know what's funny about here's my takeaway from
It's
Thursday's
an abusive
game.
relationship.
Here's my takeaway
for 60 years.
from Thursday's game is that Jared Goff played he played a very Cade McNamara-esque game. He was 21 of 25, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. If there were ever a formula where the Lions could win a game, defense held the NFL team to 16 points. If you ain't going to win this game, then what one are you going to win, Terry?
Right.
What one are you going to win?
Well, and your coach is a fool. When he called the double timeouts, he's like, oh, what am I going to do? Watch them score? Hell yes, watch them score. It's your only chance you had of winning the game. Let them score a touchdown, which happens quite often. Then you get the ball with a minute 50 seconds left. Maybe you can tie it up. If you're going to let the Chicago Bears, you know what their offense was at the end? Taking a knee. Because they didn't want to score. They knew if they scored, then that's the only opportunity the Lions had of winning the game. So they milked the clock, kicked the game-winning field goal, went home. And then your dumb coach is saying, well, am I supposed to let them just score a touchdown? Yes, if you want to win the game. That's why this man should be fired. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, and that really is a thing for me, D-Mac.
Oh.
Look, you know, 11 of 34. Look at that. We're already at the third pull, D-Mac. We're at the third pull. You see how quick this is going, everybody? There it is.
You got a point today.
D-Mac's clock right there.
There it is.
11 of 34. We're a third of the way through, everyone. Just like that, we're a third of the way through. And we have a hammerlock right now on that number 1 overall pick. And for me, these are as I said on Wednesday, when I did the show poolside, did I mention I was poolside on Wednesday, D-Mac? But when I did the show on Wednesday, D-Mac, I said I was apprehensive about this game on Thursday, that these were the types of game that you had to find a way to lose. And throughout Jared Goff playing pretty decently, 21 of 25, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, they found a way to lose the football game, D-Mac. I don't know how they did it, T-Foss. I don't know how they did it, but damn it, they rose up and they lost that game. And I really have to give them a lot of credit for holding on to that game at hand that they have in the race for the number 1 overall pick. They made the plays or didn't make the plays that you need to not make in order to get the number 1 overall pick. It's not as easy as everybody thinks it is.
Easy, but you know what? Dan Campbell is either a buffoon or a genius. A buffoon in the way that he handles game, or genius in the way in which he figures out ways to lose games. Yes, not a great roster, and it's a bad roster, but they're in position to win. The reason they don't win is because of him.
And that's more...
D-Mac, I'm getting a nervous energy from you right now because he's your guy.
I know.
You got the T-shirt and everything.
I do. But the apparentness is calling it like it is that through 11 of 34, he doesn't know how to coach. And his clock management is atrocious.
And it's not getting better.
No, and the fact that, and it's not so much where he took the play calling away from Anthony Lynn when he never play called before or whatever. I think that, he's got too much on his plate, right? He's eaten. He's got too much to think about, too much to worry about. He needs help. My thing is, and Terry, to you, it seems like the formula is it'd be perfect if you had a Jim Caldwell as your head coach, sort of that calming influence, and you had your Dan Campbell as his assistant, as your rah-rah sort of guy, but somebody who wasn't in charge of the clock or the timeouts or whatever, because it seems to me, I asked Neil, remember when I asked you this? When coaches, how do coaches learn how to time clock? Is it through Madden? Is it through
that's how I learned.
Here's
right,
the problem,
who
Darren.
do you teach?
If you had Jim Caldwell, then you'd have 2 guys who can't tell time.
Okay, well, I use that as an example,
right?
Because so maybe that's a bad example, but I meant as not a kneecap biter, but sort of you need somebody who can manage the clock, that knows these situations, that has been there before, because obviously it's a lot harder than we all think it is because of what Dan Campbell's putting on display here. And it's just, when I talk about the penalties and the dead whistle penalties, the false starts, the formations, the pre-snaps, calling 2 timeouts back-to-back when you know that's illegal.
No, you don't know that's illegal.
There's no other explanation.
You don't know
he didn't know.
It's wrong. That's
poor thing.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, that's just atrocious.
And it's not like that's one of those obscure rules where it changed last year, and it's got to do with the shoulder position of being across the line of scrimmage on a screen pass that's completed by. It's not one of those things. That's cut and dry, man.
Right.
That's cut and dry.
Didn't know.
He did. There's no other. I'll hear no other explanation.
Learning
Stand up there
on the job.
I didn't know. As a coach in the National Football League, I didn't know. And look, like Dan Campbell, the guy, like listening to him talk. He can come in and talk to my corporation anytime. I'm growing concerned. And look, it's of 34. It's 11-34 for me. You can't break me. You can't break me. It doesn't matter the amount of losing, the style in which they lose. You cannot break me. My will is outstanding for this, to quote Rob Marinelli. My will is, I can take this. I've taken it before. Guess what? I made it through. I lived. And I'm joking, a little bit about you have to not make the plays that are necessary to secure a number 1 overall pick, and they've done all that. You cannot break me in my will. How embarrassing it is, everything like that, ... However, the resume we're building up at the head coach position right now, it makes me feel the way DMAC feels, where I'm getting very, very nervous. I'm not nervous about not winning a game. We've been there before. We've gone through that. We've lived through that. I'm not nervous about that. I am nervous, however, the guy with the 6-year contract doesn't look like he's very good at the job. Is that fair? Am I being unreasonable?
No. He's either a buffoon or he's a genius in that he's executing your game plan. Oh, shoot, we're in a game. How can I blow it this time? Let me call a draw play on 3rd and 31.
Which T-Foss, that's out of bounds for me even. Because when I've talked about this with DMAC and I've talked about this with Joik before, I'm not asking the quarterback to fumble the ball or the offensive lineman to miss a block or the running back to go down. That's your livelihood. That's your job.
Right.
You do what you got to do to get your money and to perform, to get a long contract, to do everything you need to do to sustain yourself in this league and make sure you have a career. However, the roster that's in place, I believe, gave them a real shot at getting the number 1 overall pick, and that's how I want the out. Yes. 3 times in the first 33 picks, we're going to hear that sound. You can't break me on that, but DMAC, I'm terrified the guy can't coach. I'm terrified.
Well, it goes to Terry's point. You know what I mean? What was the conversation? And I know he was hired for the rah-rah, but is this something that they expected is go ahead and learn on the job? I mean, because it can't get any worse, can it? We'll find out. But like you said, Neil, is that if we got to be committed to this. We didn't realize that we'd be this early, 11 out of 34.
It came quick,
saying
didn't it?
that the life preservers out there grab on. Right? Titanic's hit the iceberg. When are we going to survive? But it is. We got to wait it out. And if it doesn't get better, will there be changes? I don't think so. I think it is a 2-year plan, and it's all on this draft now. I mean, it's what do you say? I revert to Terry because he's had to suffer through the most out of all of us here because he's been around the longest.
Yeah, I had been in that room or the dressing room a number of times with the Lions under Matt Patricia, and the next coach. I kept saying this: they didn't need a great X's and O's guy as much as they needed somebody to stimulate a locker room that just says, you know what, we don't want to play here anymore. We give up. So what they did is they got that guy. But they forgot to ask him during the interview process, what would you do if you're down 6 with under 3 minutes left and you're facing a 4th and 1? You go for the 4th and 1, especially when you start talking about busting kneecaps and everything. You don't kick a field goal in that situation. What do you do if a team is milking the clock to set up for a game-winning field goal that they're going to kick with 1 second left, and you let them score? You don't call 2 timeouts and say, don't want these guys to score. I'm glad I called the timeout. Says, oh, damn, I can't call that timeout? This dude thought, here's the problem. This dude thought he had called the right play. What am I supposed to do?
And that's
just let them score?
Terry, that's the bigger issue.
Yeah, it is.
No, the big, you just nailed it right there, is that, because here's the thing. You make mistakes, right, and you learn from your mistakes. That's Scotty Bowman. Don't make the same mistake twice. But if you think you're making the right play and you're absolutely in left field and you have no clue, is this what we're seeing here? To your point, is he a buffoon or is he brilliant? And
Right.
And right now, I'm leaning towards the zoo. But, guys, let's be honest. We like simple things and like football 5 days a week, or Michigan in the playoff competition. We like that too. But things uncomplicated like Lady Jane's haircuts for men. You walk in, you sign in, you sit down. Before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. T. Foss, Neil Rule, D. Mac will be back. Big D Energy. Stick around.
Big D. Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
On and popping here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule, back in the saddle. D-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house as well. Detroit sports media icon Terry Foster with us, as he always is on Mondays. I love these shows, T-Foss.
I enjoy myself on Monday.
There's just something just calming. It's awesome to work with you, man. All that stuff. Fish is in the bowl. And I'll tell you what, D-Mac, today I think was the first day. As far as Sawyer goes, Sawyer's ingrained. I think he's ingrained, and here's why. Sawyer is the offensive lineman of Big D Energy.
Absolutely.
He's like Michigan's offensive line on
Fred
Saturday.
Ragnow.
He's 8 yards down the field all the time. No penalties. And what does he do? He gets up off the ground and goes back to the huddle and does it again.
He'll pick you up. He'll pick you up
Right.
on his
And if
way
somebody
back.
tries to mess with us, he'll smack him.
Absolutely.
100%.
Smack him right in the face.
Sawyer is the offensive lineman of Big D Energy.
He's
never
a whole
worry
offensive line.
You never worry about him.
And guess what? If he's got to bring in the jumbo package and maybe
He'll do that.
bring eligible 72, he's got Spencer.
Spencer will be
right? He'll
there
bring in
too,
the
yeah.
eligible, put 72
Goal
jumbo
line.
package, goal line.
The goal line package.
No,
But
I give, you know what? It's really cool the way that I think that Sawyer's really gelled in, and I know that when I talk hockey stuff with him, and we're on the same page, so it makes it a lot easier, and it's just as listen. You need that. We know how you need that offensive line to win. And Michigan showed that. So it's the guys behind the scenes.
No.
What's Fish? What's Fish? Our punt returner?
Absolutely. And he breaks one every now and then. He breaks one.
Absolutely he does.
He only fair catches them a lot,
Dude,
but every now and then he breaks
listen,
one.
He
flips field
He's our
position.
Cordell Patterson, right? Just a multiverse. He might not look that big, but he is. He
I
plays
think
big.
he's the puncher that buries the opponent inside the 5-yard line every time.
Jack Fox, baby.
That's it.
Yeah, he is.
I love it.
And people are jumping on it right now. Mike G says Sawyer's like the Marine, sending him in first to collect and sweep the Cougars at happy hour. In the streets of Birmingham.
Got to do what you listen. I would be apropos. Learned it from the best, from the icon. I
Fish
like
is
it.
the Jack Fox of Woodward Sports. Sawyer's like the Hassan Haskins of Woodward Sports Network. So, yeah, it is, though. Sawyer's a guy. You never worry about Sawyer anymore. I forgot he was even there, and that's what you do when you have a good offensive lineman. You forget that they're there. But we do have to go around the NFL because there were some things, and look, while we're talking about, I think Thursday was a day of reckoning for Dan Campbell in particular, not necessarily this Lions team. I think it was a very good Sunday for the Detroit Lions organization. And for me, I'll start with this. The LA Rams, Matt Stafford threw another pick six. Matt Stafford got beat by a team that was 500 or better for the 70th time in 79 games, as somebody brought up in the YouTube chat thread. Right now, as the Lions sit, it's 1, it's 23, and it's 33, thanks to throws like that from Matt Stafford. A huge Rams loss coupled with a very big Jets win. I think the Jets are off the radar now. I think as far as the Lions go, it's really a two-horse race with the Texans and the Jaguars. But Matt Stafford did the job for the Lions. And I'm telling you what, T-Foss, that Super Bowl trophy that we were handing the Rams, they're 2 back of the Cardinals now in the division, and it's a hell of a lot harder to get home from that wild card spot.
It is. Well, the reports came out that perhaps he's injured. Matt Stafford must have a real strong PR machine. He can't just be bad and throw pick sixes. It's got to be something wrong with it. Now, we don't know what it is. It's not on the official sheet of the LA Rams, but there's something wrong with Matt Stafford. He's injured. That only comes out for a guy that has a strong PR machine and never wants to admit that he's the problem.
No, and, as far as I goes, that was the big thing locally for the Lions. What about you, D-Mac? What'd you notice when you spun around the NFL?
No, a couple things. Finally, it looks like this Miami and Tua experiment, 4 straight
games, man.
Well, but this is I was disappointed in Brian Flores earlier in the season, but Miami's put four wins back to back. They handled Carolina handily. It got me thinking of that game. Is you never want to come back like Cam did and say you're back right away after your first one, right? Because this is sort of the karma police. I want to go back to Thursday. That Vegas Cowboys game was awesome. It's great to see Vegas pull that out, under the adversity. And, Derek Carr, to me, he's a football quarterback, man. I love watching him play, just his demeanor and the way that what I like is with all the adversity that team has faced with their coach and Henry Ruggs and all that stuff, is you see through everything, like he's engaged. He's their quarterback, high-fiving guys on defense and stuff, like not doing it for show, but I like to see that. And also, what can you say about Mac Jones, Bill Belichick, and the Pats? I mean, 6 straight handling the Titans. I know they didn't have Derrick Henry, but that was impressive to that. And the Packers, Aaron Rodgers and the squad getting it done with his broken toe or whatever the heck was wrong with him. So I like the fact that the Rams lost and our draft position improves. And again, we didn't. The Lions haven't lost for 2 straight Sundays. That's good.
Yeah, no, that was. How freeing is it, Terry, when on Sunday, and I thought this yesterday, I didn't have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lions, and we have to watch the game, given the line of work and all that kind of stuff. Didn't have to deal with it on Sunday. How fabulous was yesterday?
I don't like that. I like dealing with the Lions no matter how bad they are because they entertain me.
Throws me off.
It's like 2 buys, though. The bye week that they get, and then when they play on the Thanksgiving Day game, you watch the game, but then you go right into family mode and all that stuff, so you kind of forget about
the Lions. As pathetic as they are, best story in Detroit.
They always are.
You can't ignore them. You got to pay attention to them. And then you have a bunch of butthurt Lion fans. If you make the smallest little joke about them, like, how can you say that about my team? What have they done to you? I don't know. Been pathetic for 6 decades, which I didn't think was possible.
Juice's Go says in our YouTube chat thread, it's so freeing Sundays without the Lions. And luckily, Juice, we get 2 of them every year, which is great. And I remembered the splendor and the glory of Lions bye week Sunday, but I had forgotten about the Thanksgiving Day week Sunday.
Right.
Because you know how it is. You're running around and people are traveling and you got all that stuff to do and you're coordinating the meals and all. Sunday you need a day to get right on Sunday from all the bustle of the Halloween and the Black Friday shopping and all that stuff that people do. You need a day to get right. And damn it, we had a nice little Sunday. But D-Mac, 100% in with you on Mac Jones. I mean, I know it's jumping the gun a little bit that people will probably get fired up when I say this, but dare I say, is he special? And what have I always said about him? The completion percentage. That's why I like Tua.
Yeah.
Guy throws the ball where it needs to go.
Well, that's the whole thing. And, and when you've gone from, this is the brilliance of, and it's not just Bill Belichick, it's Josh McDaniel and stuff like this, but when you have, what do they feast on? What did they have? They had a guy in Tom Brady, right? It's the same thing. Mac Jones is sort of, they use the same sort of system because they have the accuracy, right? And they play within what, Nick Saban and the Alabama. And I just think because of the Alabama quarterback, right, that we've seen the last couple with Tua, with Mac Jones, accuracy is a huge thing. Is accuracy the new arm strength, right? You know what I'm saying? Like in this NFL,
to some degree, I think you're right.
The way, right? You look at last night. We were just talking about the Rams, and you look in the first half. I think there was a stat where Cooper Kupp almost threw a touchdown, but he had no targets. Right? Stafford needs Kupp right for the short intermediate passes. What did Brady always had? You had the Edelmans and the Woodheads, Amendolas, and stuff like this. So they know the secret, and I think that has something to do with the way that it's officiated. And who adapts more and better than one of the best coaches in the league in Belichick. But Josh McDaniel's there. And so what is it? Not only the accuracy, cerebral. The football IQ and the way that we always hear he picked up the playbook and different things like that. So to me, the wins 6 straight and the fact that the eyeball test, he's the real deal. Because here's the thing about Mac Jones is what you want in your quarterback. No moment seems too big.
No.
You know what I mean? Like he seems like the same guy.
Both ways.
Every
Up
time.
and down. Both ways.
Right. That's what I mean. Even more so.
But Mac Jones is not a rookie quarterback. He's been in the league for 10 years. Don't know where he's been, but he's been in the league for 10 years. That's the way he looks.
He does. He does have that look.
But does that go back to being with Saban? Does that go back to the coaching that he had before? Because it's the preparation and the skill set to be prepared, and it's prepared physically, yeah. But he's not that specimen to things like that. It's his brain. It's the same thing that carried Tom Brady to still playing. And what does New England do? They protect him, right, so he can make those throws. And it's like watching Brady 2.0 almost.
And you look at the receivers that Mac Jones played with at Alabama. Guys like Henry Ruggs and those
Park.
Yeah,
you look at what they're doing in the pros. So
Jalen Waddle, all those dudes.
To Terry's point, he's been playing in a pro offense for a bunch of years.
So maybe that is it. T-Foss.
Or getting superior coaching. Look at Kyle Van Noy. Couldn't wait for that dude to get out of here. Then he goes to New England. I'm like, damn, this dude can play. What happened?
No, absolutely, but. Patty Grimes says Mac Jones better than any rookie quarterback so far. And before we go to the next break, Terry, if we redrafted the draft, Mac Jones goes number 1, right?
Yes, he does.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
But Trevor Lawrence has so much hype that somebody still might take him first. Sometimes you don't take a guy based on his ability. You take a guy based on what you're told about him and what you think his future is going to hold.
Oh, hey,
I still think Trevor Lawrence may have gone number 1.
Hey, how about this one? Ooh, what we can get out of him.
Right.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh, that bit.
Whoa. Look at the potential. Wait till I get my hands on him.
He might suck somewhere else, but wait till I coach him. Yeah. Man, he gonna be bad. He's gonna be a bad man.
And I'm not giving up on Trevor Lawrence by any means or anything like that. He's shown some flashes where he's got good arm strength and he can make plays and things like that. And he's made some awful across his body running the other direction throws too that a lot of rookies make. And Mac Jones has 1 or 2 of those throws too. They all do.
But here's the thing. He makes a mistake. You don't see him make the same mistake again,
twice, yep.
Right? You know what I'm saying? And to me, you'd have to go with everything's a part of it, from where he came from to where he went to, what's the New England system? They're the one team that if they take a guy that has done nothing in the league if they end up in New England, he might do something there because what they do is they put them. Belichick puts guys in specific positions to do a specific job, not 5 jobs. Is that if you're good at this one job, then you do this one job, and that's it. And he gets guys, puts them in the right position. You mentioned Van Noy. That could be his greatest recovery, so to speak.
T-Foss Rack on our YouTube chat thread wants to know, where'd you get your sweatshirt from? Everybody's talking about your sweatshirt.
I got this sweatshirt from the Motor City Casino. There was a lady there selling these sweatshirts and other artistic things, and I got it from there. I also have seen it in Royal Oak. I don't know the name of the place, but it's right on Woodward and 9 Mile. It's like a swap meet type of thing. So you can get it at the casino or 9 Mile and Woodward. 2
places where T-Foss does best, man. Right there. Absolutely. No, people talk about your hat, too. They love your hat.
I had to go to the
casino. Is it across from Como's?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right across the street
on the kitty corner from Como's.
I don't know. It's a whole bunch of stuff, artistic stuff.
Yep.
But I used to have to go to the casino because I went on something called Antique Patrol. When my cousin was alive, her old-ass relatives came to town. I had to take them to the casino.
Her old-ass relatives came to town.
Dude. They were 80, 85. But I knew I didn't have to stay there long because they would gamble and fall asleep, and then that's when I took them home.
Absolutely. Joey 2 times says, if the Rams don't at least make the NFC Championship game, then the Rams experiment is a comedic failure. I mean, the ship is taking on water right now. There is no doubt. D-Mac's got a good hockey thing for you when we come back. The Red Wings, quietly, I know the Michigan talk has been, the Red Wings have put together some wins again. They ebb and flow, man. Every time you think they're done, they rise up. Every time you think, here we go, they lose a couple games. But we'll discuss that. D-Mac has something, too, that we're going to discuss. All that and more. We're coming down the stretch here. It's Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network.
Big D.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device. Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, T. Foss, Terry Foster, D-Mac, Darren McCarty. All of us in the house. Got some interaction going on our YouTube chat thread. Everybody is all about it. Juice's Ghost says, those people are old if T. Foss is calling them old. Patty Grimes says the Rams are going to go 10-7. Lots to talk about. Rust Belt in Ferndale as well, a spot that you can hook up the sweatshirt. But I have gotten a question, T-Foss, about you at the casino. Pete Smith wants to know, you over there playing the penny slots, Terry? You're not a penny slots guy, are you?
Nah, I'm a probably quarter, as high as I go.
Yeah.
Sometimes if Mama gives me a bigger allowance, I may go the dollar slots, but usually it's the quarters.
Jen Reed, 77. Finally, some hockey talk. Yeah, we're going to get to it. Hey, Jen, look, you got to cut us a little bit of slack here. I mean, Michigan did something they haven't done since the format was introduced. Like, fans are going to Google Maps right now looking to see where Indianapolis is at for the very first time. So, you gotta forgive us here today. But D-Mac, the Red Wings looking for 3 straight wins when they square up with Boston tomorrow. But before that, this Brendan Lemieux deal, man. What's wrong with this Lemieux? What's wrong with these Lemieux, dude? We know they can take a punch.
Oh, my God. Dude, it
looks
like the kid needs an idiot mark like the dad. But if anybody hasn't seen this, do you have the... So you're putting it up there. So Brady Tkachuk, who's...
young star in this league.
Absolutely. Captain of the Ottawa Senators. Now... their father I played against, Keith Tkachuk in St. Louis, and we've run into each other. Yep. Very good player. We've had battles and stuff like this. Now, Brady Tkachuk, the younger of the Tkachuk brothers, Matthew, his older brother.
Very good player in Calgary.
Very good player. Matthew's, if you would have done this to Matthew, then he probably, he's a little bit crazier. Brady's a common sense one. But the fact, guys, there's no biting in hockey.
And for those of you watching on the YouTube,
he's
holding
he
his
got in
hand.
the fight. He's holding his hand, and Brendan Lemieux, Claude Lemieux, yes, Claude the Turtle's son, bit him. Now, this ain't the first interaction for Brendan Lemieux and stuff like this. Can you read that, Neil?
Garrett Brooks tweeted out, says, I knew being a turtle was in the family, just didn't know it was a snapping turtle.
Absolutely. I told him I was going to steal that from him. Exactly. But the kid bit. You can't bite. I mean, with everything going on.
Not even in hockey.
Not in it. No.
D-Mac, in life.
Dude, somebody biting hockey. Those dudes don't have teeth.
Well, that's what talking about it is that he should get every tooth knocked out in his mouth. I mean, people said what should happen to him for biting a guy in hockey is he should be suspended. And it's not like, did you happen, Sawyer, to pull Brady's, his diatribe about addressing the situation about being bit? About Lemieux and stuff like this. Anyways, you have to look it up of saying he didn't address it, but there's no respect for this kid. No matter where he goes. He's a suitcase, he's traded around, but he's selfish, and he's hated. I mentioned this morning, and Brad Thompson, the dog, who's the equipment manager in Grand Rapids, who's been there 30 years and stuff like this, he told me that when Brendan Lemieux was playing in Manitoba, they were in Manitoba after the game, Terry, that a present-day Red Wing, who he didn't name, so he didn't tell me because he knows I would have outed it. Lemieux walked by him after the game and spit on him.
At another man.
And I said, well, what happened? And then the dog said, game's changed, nothing. Are you freaking kidding me?
Wow.
Yeah. Spit on him outside. So not only this incident, whatever. And I'll say this, right, where I've said it all along. Listen, Claude Lemieux, for what he did to Chris Draper and not apologizing on the ice and stuff like this, got his up and comings, has a scar to this day from getting his head smashed in the boards by me. To remind that, I have more respect for the old man because of the person he is. This kid's a piece of ass. He's an absolute piece of ass. I hope he gets suspended for life because that is just beyond the game, and you can't have that. And the disrespect that he has in every locker room he goes in, this is what you call a cancer, right? And I can't even hold his dad accountable to it because his dad, as a man and talking to him as a man and signing autographs, I have respect for him as a man, not as a player. I have no respect for this kid as anything because of the way it is. And you hear... right, and this is all throughout the league. So I would expect a huge fine, suspension, and stuff like this because this cannot go on. I think if you find what Brady Tkachuk said, can you read that, Neil?
Yeah, he says it's outrageous. Kids don't even do that anymore. He's a complete brickhead. He's got nothing up there. This guy's a joke. He shouldn't be in the league. I think it was the most gutless thing anyone could ever do, and that was Brady Tkachuk, who had his hand bitten by another man.
And that's coming from a mannered, the captain, a mild-mannered guy, somebody that can think properly, and to come out and absolutely say stuff like this. I mean, this is disgusting. As a player, there's no room in the game for stuff like this. Like, there's some hits and some things that happen on the ice that you will accept more. Like, to me, Marty McSorley two-handing Brashear across the head, you know what I'm saying, and get suspended and doing all that, I can see more. It's not acceptable and it's condoned, but on the ice, heat of the moment, stuff like this got away from him, and that can't happen. But biting,
this guy bit another man.
This is disgusting. So it'll be. I'm flabbergasted, but I mean, snapping turtle. So you got the old man's a turtle, and the kid's a snapping turtle, but it's friggin' joke. It's a freaking joke.
He bit another man.
And spit on another.
Yeah,
and spit on another man.
Spit, all that stuff. So,
you can see it on the. We're showing the video on the YouTube channel right now. You can see it, and look, Kachuk's so beside himself that he's telling the ref he bit my hand, and like spit's coming out of. You ever get so mad, T. Foss, that when you're yelling or whatever, like the spit comes out of your mouth and stuff like that.
Back
like
in the day, yeah.
I know she didn't ask me.
No,
absolutely.
You already know.
Absolutely.
No, but I mean, he bit a man. He bit another man. And here's the other thing with that, D-Mac, because there will be some atonement. For this, there has to be some atonement, right? I know the game's changed. I know we're in a different time.
I don't think he's going to get back on the ice. I mean, do you not, like, this is, to me, this is, like, as heinous. Egregious. That it could get. And hopefully his track record doesn't help, and because he's going to be, I would think he'd be a target all throughout the league. I mean, hey, let him play. The best thing to do for the kid is make him play, so guys get shots at him every time they want, and how you govern the game is just you sort of let it go. If he's going to act like that, then it's sort of ref differently for him.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And look, when you look at it from the perspective, too, D-Mac, where he puts his teammates now out in the line, because you were a protector out there on the ice. It was a role, right? And these guys got to go do their job now, even though secretly, deep down, they probably would just want to look the other way. And maybe they still will do that. I don't know.
Not at this point. Like, this goes to every protector, every enforcer throughout the league and every team. It's just like the same thing as like when I got Lemieux. You know how many guys like, in the summertime or whatever, just like, I didn't realize that he was the most hated guy. Well, his kid has the same reputation, the most hated guy in the league too.
I got a critical question for you. Even though this happened to the Ottawa Senators, let's say it's back in the day and Lemieux is coming to Detroit, do you kick his ass or just say, you know what, didn't happen to my teammates, so you just kind of let it go?
Do you give street justice, I guess is the question.
Absolutely. Because there's certain guys around the league that do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and because, honestly, it happened to Kachuk, to Kachuk's kid or whatever playing, yeah. Absolutely. But I'm not the only one. There's probably every place. Like, this is the subtle behind the scenes, where there's this brotherhood, where it is that we stick together. And I'll tell you, because we learned a long time ago that nobody can take care of ourselves but us. And that's more so off the ice, too. So this is an off the ice issue. Just like Lemieux, like his dad's issue was bigger. In life and sports, bad things happen. But you can't lose respect for a fellow human being, right? Hit from behind, break a guy's face and not apologize, you see karma what happens. Bite a guy, that's right in the same category.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree with you. We'll take our final break, and when we come back, Lincoln Riley left in the middle of the night as the coach of Oklahoma and took the USC job. So we'll discuss that. I have a question for Terry Foster and a question for a lot of you, because I posed this on social media and universally got backlash. But I think I'm more right than people think I am. But we'll discuss. But right now, D-Mac, it's everyone's favorite part of the show.
Well, you know what? I know for a fact that if I was on the ice and I was wearing the Guardian Alarm, your local security experts patch, something would be done, because Guardian Alarm, they get it. A good defense on and off the field helps you feel secure. Guardian Alarm is state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe, all with 24/7 local monitoring. You can open your door, unlock, lock right from here. The temperatures, in case you get a fire, the smoke alarm, whatever, or the deadly killer carbon monoxide. Guardian Alarm has you covered. So, to get into the Guardian Alarm family like we all are, you can, but you need to call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. For everybody in the back on this great Monday after a Michigan win, that's 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Get out of my house.
Get out of my house. Stay out of my house. Thanks, Fish. You're out and about and about. Stay out with Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Guardian Alarm has been trusted for over 90 years of keeping families safe. They keep all of us here. Big D Energy, Neil Rule, Terry Foster, Darren McCarty. Back, final segment. Woodward.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Final segment of the show here, Big D Energy on a Big D Energy Monday on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule. His name is Darren McCarty. Terrence is here as well. Terry Foster in the building as well. Fish is in the bowl. Sawyer at left tackle over there in the production booth, paving the way for everybody here to score touchdowns, and that's what we have done. Big-time interaction on the show. You guys, man, just smashing with viewers, listeners here today, comments, all that stuff. Certainly give us a like on the YouTube channel if you would be so kind as to smash that like button, as my kids YouTubers would say. But I did want to wrap up the show because I saw this yesterday, and it really came together quickly. Lincoln Riley, who used to be the head coach of Oklahoma, all the way back on Saturday night, like 36 hours ago or whatever it was, he bolted and took the USC job. I haven't heard things in terms of numbers and things like that. I do believe he had a buyout in the $20 to $25 million range. And I got a question for Terry about that. But before we get into that, I put something out on social media because I heard that their number one candidate right now, Terry, is Cliff Kingsbury, the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, the 9-2 division-leading Arizona Cardinals. And Pro Football Focus College Football said that they've targeted him as the Lincoln Riley replacement. Terry, I put it on social media. I said, if you guys think that these numbers that you're seeing coaches getting right now are unbelievable, if they pull this off and get Cliff Kingsbury, you wait and see the numbers that Cliff Kingsbury gets to go to Oklahoma and be their coach. And I was kind of brushed aside by everyone. Oh, there's no way. Why would he leave the NFL? The Cardinals are in first place. T-Foss, look, man, you shove that contract in front of his face and say, we're going to pay you more than Nick Saban. We're going to give you 10 years guaranteed at $11 million, $12 million per year, $120 million contract or whatever it is, Terry. It's hard to look across that table and not sign that piece of paper. Am I crazy with this? I think this is more possible than people think it is.
You're not crazy, but I think the odds of that happening are not as great as you perhaps think it is. The one thing the coaches complain about college is the recruiting thing. In NFL, you don't have that. You don't have to beg young guys or young people to come play for you. You don't have to worry about them missing class. You don't have to worry about them smoking dope and stuff. So there's less stress in the NFL in many regards. But, you shove that contract in front of it, it's got a lot of zeros on it. You can get anything you want.
No, and D-Mac, I'm curious to get your take, too. I mean, I don't think it's that far off. I don't. Again, they drop a $120 million contract in front of your face.
Money talks. At the end of the day, follow the money trail. So whether it is or not, it's just how committed they are. And we're talking about programs that have these boosters. You mentioned it earlier. We hear...
Who are USC's boosters, by the way?
Well, that's the whole thing, right? Right, Terry nailed it, right? How'd you say it, Terry? The fact that...
They don't want to be known.
No.
They're not T-Boone Pickens.
No, they're not T-Boone Pickens. That might be Tom Cruise. They might be somebody that we know. So when you got that high profile, you stay right in the back. Now, I have met boosters from Auburn, Western Michigan. They want you to know who they are. They're like, yeah, I gave so-and-so money. Yeah, what they're going to do about it? That was like 30 years ago. But USC, they're like, okay, we don't want to be known. We're in the background. That's where we're going to stay. because they already have something noteworthy in their lives. They're probably already high-profile people, so they just stay in the background.
Yeah, Chuck Brewer says he wanted no part of the SEC. Oklahoma, watch, they're going to go the way of Nebraska. And certainly, I think Oklahoma will do that to some degree, especially now that Lincoln Riley's gone. But still, at the same time, I don't think that Lincoln Riley was like, oh my God, they're going to the SEC. I got to get the hell out of here now. If you were that dude, you embrace that challenge, even if even if deep down we all know that Oklahoma is going to go the way of Nebraska once they swim in those waters. But still, with all that being said, he's not leaving because they're going to the SEC.
You open with a Scott Hall. I'm going to close, like Rake said, with a Ted DiBiase. Everybody has a prize.
Daniel Gray says USC is a top 3 job with the right coach. Riley's going to kill it there, and I do lean towards that. T. Foss. Think of all those quarterbacks in California.
Oh yeah, it's a smart move. But the people in sports that I've met, all of them are competitors. Now and then you get somebody who's scared of their own shadow. But for the most part, I'm the baddest dude in the room.
I
don't
fix
care
anywhere.
Who's in the room? I can fix this. I can run through it. I can score on it. I can stop the puck on this. I can catch it. So the people I've met in sports, it doesn't behoove them to run from anything. Even Nick Saban, they don't run from Alabama. They don't run from LSU. They don't run from anything. It's like, I can beat this. So I don't think he's running from Alabama. I think he just got a great offer, and USC is like, we are tired of just being a so-so program.
It's like T. Foss at closing time, man. He's going to win, everybody.
Show me the money.
Appreciate everybody tapping in and getting involved with the program. Huge numbers of watching. Certainly a big thank you for D-Mac, Darren McCarty, T. Foss, Terry Foster, and everybody here associated with Woodward Sports. My name is Neil Rule. Thanks for watching, everybody. Well, see you later.